Who did this to us? I'm talking about America. Who put us in this state? You know, accountability is a really, really important thing. Not so we can finger point. It's not so we can finger point. It's so we can diagnose a problem and fix a problem. Now, I don't like accountability for me. You probably don't like it for you, but it's important for me. It's important for you. It's important for us to figure out who's responsible for what and how do we fix it? Who is responsible for this country, for the state of this country? Well, there's a lot of people, and we're going to get to a lot of them tonight on the show and a lot of concepts tonight on the show. First of all, let's deal with something here. If you're ever tempted to get hard on yourself about the state of America, you should understand that leadership matters a lot. And we don't like to think it does sometimes. Sometimes we like to wash our hands of that, but the truth is leadership, it is important. Who the head coach of your football team is does matter. Who the CEO of your company is, it does matter. Who leads your country, who leads your institutions matters a lot. I wish presidents and senators and professors and musicians and actors and media people, I wish these people truly didn't matter. I wish the fact that they're a bunch of soulless commie demons was totally unimportant, but the truth is, it's extremely important. We as a country are suffering because the people who lead our institutions hate us. We have a head coach of our football team who wants to lose games. That's very, very, very difficult for the players, you and me, to overcome. How do we overcome that? Look, let's just address the border right off the bat. Illegal immigration and debt, this is what they have in common. No matter how big and powerful a nation is, debt and illegal immigration can sink it, can end it. That's just a fact. It's like a ship, a big, powerful ship. It doesn't matter. If I were to give you the best engineers and the best tools and you built the most powerful ship that ever took to the high seas, I could sink your ship if I just made sure it took on enough water. With enough water, the ship goes down. With debt and illegal immigration, they're water. They consume the capital of a nation, consume the resources of a nation, and if they're not stopped, they sink it. The President of the United States of America wants the border open.
We still need a path of documentation for those who are already here. And we're not walking away from true immigration reform, including permanent protections and a pathway to citizenship for young dreamers who came here when they were children.
The President of the United States of America still goes on camera and tells the entire planet we're going to hand out citizenship to people. People around the globe heard Joe Biden say that. I think it was yesterday, if not the day before, and they booked their plane ticket. That's how it works. If people think they can get here and get that golden ticket that is U.S. citizenship, then they come over here. The President of the United States of America encourages illegal immigration on camera. How can we survive this? So yes, the dirty open borders communists are very responsible for where we are. Another person who's responsible for where we are, another entity I should say, is the Republican Party. The Republican Party that has been the controlled opposition for far too long. It's not just that we have a bunch of soulless commie Democrats trying to destroy us. It's that we have half of the low-T GOP helping them along, doing everything they can to run cover for them, to back their agenda. Here's Senator Naked Kendall from 2018.
There has been a very difficult debate going on in the House of Representatives, something of a revolt among more moderate Republicans and, even conservative Republicans who think that there should be a solution for the DACA kids. Are you working on anything here in the Senate to try to address this problem before the end of the year?
I am. There's a group of us that are meeting quietly to try to see if we can find common ground.
Do you think that whatever you're working on will have to include a path to citizenship for dreamers?
I do. I've been pretty outspoken on that. For even last September, December, Senator Tillis and I both put out a proposal to get citizenship for those individuals that are in the DACA program or were eligible for the DACA program, because we've got a group that was in the DACA program, but we've got a group that never signed up, never went through the paperwork for whatever reason they were eligible for it. We'd like those individuals to be able to have access to citizenship as well.
That's a Republican. Our own team keeps knifing us in the back as we try to take on the communists. And you could hear, you know what one of the most revealing parts of that little interview was? Said it at the very beginning. We've been meeting quietly. Did you hear that part? We've been meeting quietly. Same thing they did with this last amnesty push that just failed. Now, why would they meet quietly? If what they're discussing is good, if what they're discussing is something that you would support, if it was something that helped America, why would you meet quietly? They meet quietly because the things they discuss are despicable and they know it. They meet quietly because they know if you find out exactly what they do and what they say about this nation, you would hate them even more than you do now. These are the people who are killing us. And speaking of Senator Naked Kendall, I could have just done the whole show on how useless this person is and how he should be the GOP mascot, because this is what the GOP has always been. Remember when St. George Floyd died and communists decided to use the death of this drug addict as an opportunity to do what? Well, to destroy police, to help criminals, to promote violence, to destroy our history. Remember, the destruction of history is part of communism everywhere it takes root. The Soviet Unions tore down the statues, renamed the streets. Cambodia, they declared year zero, destroyed everything. Mao was digging up the grave of Confucius, which was 2,000 years old, pulling down the Buddhist temples. The communist destroys your history so he can redefine your future. If you've read the Anti-Communist Manifesto, which you can purchase at jessekelleybook.com, you would already know all that. But while the communists began tearing down statues and symbols, he, of course, decided now was the time to go after those Confederacy-named military bases. And who was there giving aid and comfort to the enemy? No other than Senator Naked Kendall.
We are also seeing now efforts to rename military bases across the country. The Senate Armed Services Committee voted on that. This week we've seen leading voices like General David Petraeus saying it's time to stop having military bases named after Confederate generals like Braxton Bragg. Is it time?
I do, actually. I think the right way to be able to do this is to be able to have a study, to be able to look at where the name come from, what do we need to have to be able to take a serious look at it, and then to be able to transition. There are lots of great leaders, military leaders that are around the country that are modern leaders that we can continue to be able to honor.
Yeah. Oklahoma, what are you doing? Speaking of accountability, it's a show on accountability. What are you doing? Let's do better next primary season.